Welcome back. Welcome back. Real Fans Podcast, episode 41. We are here with our sidelines expert, Gabe. Welcome back. You missed last episode, Super Bowl
Sideline
recap.
reporter.
He's here, recording live from the steam room, wherever he's at. You got our
Yes, I got three bars today.
Our junior analyst, Julian.
I'm a senior analyst, bro. I'm a senior, bro.
He's
I went
working
to college.
He's working his way up. He's still repping the Jags, so he has a way to go. So, what's going on, fellas? We got some NBA All-Star Weekend to talk about. A lot of basketball talk going on.
Yeah, we just had a NBA All-Star Weekend in Cleveland. It was freezing cold as hell. I don't know why.
Return of the King.
Let's put NBA All-Star Week in fucking the middle of winter in Cleveland. Fantastic. I'm sure everybody loved to go take the planes and
it's the Winter Classic.
The Ubers there.
It's the Winter Classic. they play out in the courtyard. That's what they do. Slam dunk on, yes.
But anyway, we're just going to recap the All-Star Weekend, kind of the whole name of events. I don't know how memorable it was for you guys, but Georgia, I'll start with you because you're the basketball aficionado. How did you like this All-Star Weekend, and what you thought were the standouts of what events?
All right. I mean, hey, there's a lot to talk about. It's crazy. First off, let's get this out the way. Let's get the elephant room out of the way. Let's talk about how this was possibly and arguably the worst dunk contest ever.
Wow, nobody's
terrible.
You heard it here first.
Ever.
You heard it here first.
There was probably one highlight. There's probably one highlight in that in that dunk contest, and that was Cole Anthony putting on the Timbs, representing New York.
Okay, that's a New York bias. New York bias. Hashtag big.
That was the most New York thing I have ever seen. He took flight, and you know how hard that is. This man really
That's heavy. It's heavy.
Some Timberlands. And so 40-pound Timbs on the court. That was hilarious.
Bro, yeah, it was terrible. It was bad. It was, dude. All right, I wasn't paying attention because I was at a restaurant, like a sports bar, watching it. Did they get rid of the timer? Like, didn't they used to be a timer? Now it's like attempts or something, or until you make it. Yeah, because I remember seeing who was the dude that was going for they had somebody bouncing it off the side of the glass, and he tried like fucking 15 times. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Just make your fucking dunk. Like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to see this shit. I don't know why they got, because I swear there used to be a timer, because I remember like at the end they would have to just dunk real quick just to put something on the board.
Yeah, exactly.
But what was the rules now? What was the rules this year?
You
know, Gabe, exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
I thought you.
I'm trying to look it up. No. Because the dunk contest, I'm really not really super interested in dunk contests because, especially this year, it seems like a lot of the All-Stars are people that you would want to see. You know, it used to be big players that would come into the All-Star game.
Yeah.
You would see, you want to see. You see MJ in the gun, Vince Carter. You see the guy. Now it seems like there's a bunch
Dwight
of
Howard,
Zach LaVine's. You got your. Dwight Howard is dope because he's a good, a known dunker. But
at the time, Dwight Howard was a superstar.
Yeah,
at the time.
So it feels like dunk contest. I don't know, like 4 years ago. I feel like that's when the dunk contest peaked because
it was Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon. Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon. They set the bar way too high. That was 5 contests. It was insane. Them two going at it. Some of the best dunks we've ever seen. Those two guys need to definitely come back. And Aaron Gordon got robbed last year as well. So I don't think he'll be coming back. But we got some new guys in the league, some fresh faces that definitely need to join. If Zion, was playing, he wasn't injured, we would love to see him in the dunk contest. We'd love to see John Morant, in the dunk contest. Those are just two.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It used to be like a thing like everybody did. Like it was like really only reserved for like the big names in the league. And now it's just slowly just been pushed to the side because these guys don't want to get hurt or anything, which is understandable. But man, like at least for me, I pretty much stopped watching like after the year Blake Griffin won. Like after that point, like I just didn't care anymore. Like it was just like I remember it was a huge talking point. Like every year it was like the dunk contest. Like it was so huge. And now it's just like kind of like people watch it, but it's not like how it was. Like it was
honestly the 3-point contest is more entertaining at this point.
Yeah, because you're gonna get people bigger names like willing to do it.
Yeah,
like Trae Young, Steph Curry, other guys out there.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older, and there's a lot of newer, younger players that maybe it's good that they get to shine, I guess. But it's just I don't know, man. I feel like I get more entertained by the shit that happens around the All-Star weekend than the actual All-Star weekend events. You know what I mean? Especially this year. If we can transition, this year, the 75th year, the NBA, they had the top 75 for the 75 years going. And I was wondering what you guys thought, because there's a lot of, it was actually kind of cool this year because they had, they brought everybody in. Everybody got jackets and went and took, group photos and took pictures. You saw a lot of players from different generations, I saw a lot of the players that I saw, I guess, before my generation. I really got into basketball when I was in high school, so like 2000s. So I know those era of, the Carmelo.
Damn, Gabe's old.
So
Gabe's like, when I graduated in 99, Gabe's like...
Gabe was out here in the 60s balling up.
Damn. He's like, I remember being 15 years old watching Larry Bird.
What I'm trying to say is it's kind of cool to see the older guys, coming with the generation I saw, because the generation I saw is already old, and you get to see, MJ get in a circle with Ray Allen and Dwayne Wade, and you see for some reason this guy, who's the Houston coach, this guy freaking he played for the Nets. What's his name? JoJo. Played for the Nets, Houston. He's a Houston coach now. He has the big things on the thing. I don't know. You see them in a circle. It's kind of cool to see them all
Jason
smiling,
Kidd.
Laughing. And Jason Kidd. There you go. Jason.
Oh, dude, I completely winged that. I had no fucking idea.
How do you forget Jason Kidd? First of all, how do you forget Jason Kidd's name?
I see
the disrespect.
I'm a lot of names.
He got another coaching job.
Flailing. Yeah,
didn't he have like a complete disaster, like with the Bucks or something? Wasn't it like terrible?
No, it wasn't a disaster. Look, he had a good thing going with the Nets.
I don't really know.
At the time, they threw him to no man's land in Milwaukee, right? They didn't even give him a chance in Brooklyn when he got the starting job there, and they got rid of him and threw him to no man's land with no squad there at all. So
I completely winged that. I just know he used to coach, and when he was saying Nets, I was just like,
hey, carry on.
I think the highlight of his career is when he bumped in. He didn't have any more timeouts, so he bumped into somebody holding a bucket of like a bottle of ice or some shit, and it fell on the floor. So they had to clean. They had to call timeout, official timeout to clean this. Anyway,
work smarter, not harder. You feel me?
But going back to the NBA All-Star Weekend, like it's kind of cool to see the different generations of players. You know what I mean? Looking at the list, and I see the names that I've seen before. Dominique Wilkins, Robert Parrish.
You played with some of those
names I've seen before,
right?
Yeah.
You played pickup with some of those 70s players.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, viewers, you can catch the highlight tapes on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you see Gabe out there somewhere running around.
Somewhere.
Playing with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. And
Oscar I was wondering, what you guys, if you got a chance to look at the list, like, I think one of the biggest problems oh, man. All right, here's my snub. I think the snub of the NBA top 25 list.
It's going to be a Heat player.
Chris Paul. Why are you on this list?
Wait, he's a snub?
Chris Paul. No, Chris Paul. Why is he on the list?
Because you said snub. You said snub.
Yeah, you don't got snubbed? Ridiculous. Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh got snubbed, okay? I don't know why Chris Paul on this list. He's a great player. Had an excellent run. He went back to the Suns. He's going to probably run back another championship. They're playing well. Why are you on this list? I've seen so many times you drive the ball down the baseline, get packed at the line, can't win a playoff game. You finally won a playoff game with the Suns. You're not a top 75. Maybe top 100. You're not top 75. Give my man Chris Bosh some love. He got snubbed on this top 75 list.
Hold on.
I don't know what you guys think about.
Hold on. Aside from the playoff runs and the championships, don't disrespect Chris Paul like that. It's just a quick stat run from my guy Chris Paul. He won Rookie of the Year, NBA All-Star Valuable Player, which has a little weight to it. Nothing crazy. You were the best of the best for one game, right? You gotta give him that. 2 Olympic medals, and led the NBA in assists 4 times, and steals record 6 times. He led the NBA in steals 6 times and assists 4 times. Come on.
Listen,
all right, so I have a list.
Basketball player. What's up?
I have a list. All right, so of like top snubs, and I kind of agree with some of these. One I'm just looking at, just like at the top of my head. I feel like it's too soon to put Anthony Davis in there. Is that just me? Not saying that he won't be eventually, but like you don't think it's a little too soon? Yeah, but this is the NBA. I don't care about college. This is the NBA top 75 in the NBA.
All right, question. Who would you replace Anthony Davis with?
Yeah.
For a current player.
Tony Parker. Tony Parker.
Wow. So that was the conversation I heard as well. Tony Parker.
Look here. Look. Let me give you the player snubs right here. Dwight Howard, Tracy McGrady, Manu Ginobili, Kyrie Irving, Pau Gasol, Paul George, Klay Thompson, Tony Parker, Alonzo Mourning, Ben Wallace.
All of Famer. Wow. All right, so real quick, you wouldn't replace Anthony Davis with a Dwight Howard?
I probably would. I feel like Anthony Davis is too. Not that he can't be. I just feel like it's too soon.
Yeah, I think that's more fair. Like honestly, Dwight held it down in the early 2000s. Like it's insane.
But Tony Parker, I mean, how many rings does that motherfucker have to win, dude? Like I mean, he had.
Yeah, I mean, aside from rings,
and he was an integral part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was one of the best. He was in how many? I don't even know how many time All-Star he was, but I mean, he was a top player, a top point guard in the league for decades at that point.
And I agree with that. And Dwight, how many times has he won Defensive Player of the Year? What, 2 or 3 times, or more than that? Probably like 4 times. I think.
I don't know.
And that's insane that
I think
won more for him.
I think if Dwight stayed at that level he was when he was in Orlando, when he was like the guy.
Yeah.
I think what hurt him was ever since he left, he's never really replicated that, and I think maybe that hurt him.
And even those, let's say, 5 or 6 golden seasons, I think that's enough to still make the list. You know what I mean? Not everyone.
There's a lot of players.
20 or 15-year career where you're just consistent. You know what I mean? Like his stats and his awards and his accomplishments, and he has a ring in general. Like that should be enough. Like of what he's done compared to some of these other guys.
There's a lot of older. There's a lot of older players that I can't like. It wouldn't be fair for me to say like if they shouldn't be on there because I just don't know.
But I mean, Gabe was there back then.
Gabe would know.
Let me get my VCR. I'll show you all the tapes. Yeah. I don't want to change the conversation, but Chris Paul got up out of there. I'll consider Tony Parker. I'll consider Dwight Howard. Chris Paul got up out the paint. But yeah, I mean, Tony Parker.
Alonzo Mourning, too. Especially, you're a Heat guy, bro. How are you not vouching for Alonzo Mourning over Chris Bosh? Like,
I think Alonzo is tough. I would call him top 100. He's a tough player. Didn't really win a lot. He gave a lot of he played hard for the Heat. He gave a lot of good rivalries with us versus the Knicks.
Yeah, weren't you in college when he was playing?
Yeah, I think I was there for the surgery. I was holding him for his hand for his kidney.
Yeah.
Those other two I would consider Tony Parker, Dwight Howard. I think that's reasonable to put in the top 10. Like I said, Chris Paul got up out the paint. A little bit overrated. A little bit overrated on this list.
Wow.
I think I could say the rest of the snubs are probably top 100. Another person I would probably consider is Ben Wallace too. Ben Wallace was dominant.
Chris Paul, listen. You've seen what he's done to these younger teams these last 2-3 seasons, bro. Come on, they're sitting number 1 in the West right now because he decided.
I'm not saying he's.
And wait, it's impact. It's impact because remember in the beginning of the NBA season, and we're talking about free agency, and we thought it was a mistake for him to re-sign with Phoenix because we thought it was a fluke that they went all the way to the finals. But look at them sitting on top in the West, and he just made that team completely better, like insanely better, and they're still sitting there on the top. And he's done that.
How do you feel? Go ahead. I was gonna say, how do you feel about Carmelo Anthony
making the list?
Carmelo Anthony, great player. Carmelo Anthony, Hall of Famer, should be a Hall of Famer.
I think Chris Paul is a better player than Carmelo Anthony ever was.
They're just 2 different players, man.
They're 2 different players, but I think Chris Paul makes more of an impact on the team than Carmelo Anthony did. Carmelo Anthony couldn't even get past the second round forever. Forever.
I would say, as far as accomplishments, maybe going deep in the playoffs, Chris Paul maybe has an edge on Carmelo Anthony. I like Carmelo Anthony as a player. Maybe
skill-wise and talent as well. Like, come on, Carmelo is pure talent. Like that offensive, like
this coming from a current Laker fan.
You can't debate.
He still says that. He still says that about Carmelo Anthony.
He's from New York.
JoJo still says it about Carmelo Anthony.
All right, check this. Honestly, I think the biggest snub on that entire list is Klay Thompson. The disrespect. He's literally the top 5 shooter of all time. And he's still in his prime. He has 3 rings with Golden State. No, Gabe?
I mean, I'd say
he's been injured a lot. I mean,
top 100, top 100, not top 75.
Dude, there's got to be some of these old motherfuckers that shouldn't be on there. There's got to be. Like, I'm sorry, these guys were playing with fucking plumbers and like fucking like
carpenters,
electric welders and shit. Like, come on, like some of these people. Like, come on, dude. Like, fucking Manu Ginobili would ball up on fucking Wes Unsled. Like, who the fuck is that? Like, I guarantee you Manu would fucking put in work against that guy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, like, there's got to be some of these guys. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's true, though.
I guess, it's just like the Hall of Fame conversation. It's like, when you're telling the top 75, you're talking about 75 years of the league. You want to put guys who tell the story of the league, I guess, on this top 75 list. And, maybe it changes. Maybe you get young players and it'll change. Maybe, in the next 100 years, the next 25 years, we'll put Ja Morant or we'll put some other player that speaks to the name of the game and pushing the game forward and making it a more popular sport in America. But, I can only speak to the basketball that I saw and that I witnessed. I was a little kid.
Yeah, so all 75 years.
Attention to basketball. I can only talk about like the basketball that I watched and I saw. And, for most of the list, I can agree. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Kevin Garnett, I don't like him. He is a top 75 player.
For sure.
Ray Allen was once my sworn enemy, and then he came my sweet heat champion, put the rings back, put the bars back, whatever. Right. Yeah, I can agree with that. Ooh. So for most of the list, I can agree with that.
Here's the thing. And
I got another guy.
You can't be biased on this list and guys you love or hate as well. Like, the stats speak.
Carmelo Anthony. I don't like Carmelo. He's a player.
I got another guy too. Damian Lillard. Should he be on there? I feel like it's another guy who's too soon.
I feel like we're right now in the middle of.
I feel like winning because basketball is. I was gonna say because like basketball, like a player is so important, so much more important.
I don't think the list is about winning. I think it's about who you are as a player and what you've done on the court. Because you got guys like Charles Barkley. Of course, he's all.
But I think winning is an idea.
He's never won anything. Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is like, individual stats and impact and just overall skill set.
Then again, he's been hiding in Portland for fucking like a decade now.
Bro, he's like a Matt Stafford. I guarantee you, he goes on another team, it's gonna make a huge impact.
We talked about that last week. Should Matt Stafford go to Hall of Fame?
It's time, bro. It's time. Yo,
75
can take you too far, bro.
Over Tony Parker.
That's
Ben
arguable.
Wallace.
That's arguable.
He's a way better shooter and he has range.
But he played point guard. He was the captain of the team forever.
Yeah, but here's the thing I will make. So as far as Chris Paul, the argument I would make is you tell the story of the league.
It's still on Chris Paul. He's still at Chris Paul.
Right now. I don't understand.
What did he do to you? What did he do to you?
The viewers listening, they're gonna think you're insane for trying to take Chris Paul.
I think Chris Paul's worthy. Like I
don't understand.
But here's what I want to say. What I wanted to say was, if you look at the list, it goes from generation to generation, right? You have players in the 60s and 70s. You have 80s, like Isaiah Thomas. You have the 90s basketball players, the 2000s, your Carmelos. And you want to talk about recent, the new players like Damian Lillard. You want to say Chris Paul. Chris Paul, he was the head of the Players Union. Super important dude. He was part of the Banana Boat. So you talk about generations. They're trying to capture the story of the NBA across the generations. So, I mean, you can argue. There's some other players that you can argue for. I'll go with you with Tony Parker. I'll go with you with Dwight Howard. But it's only 75 spots. So like, how many people can you put in? I suggest Chris Bosh, not Chris Paul, but hey, I didn't make the list. It's the NBA's list. They do whatever they want with their league. Okay, that's it. I'm done. No more Chris Paul talk until he loses in the playoffs.
I will say, man, like just real quick to combat you, just a quick second, dude.
This guy,
Chris Paul, has been top of the game for forever now.
Like I'm talking like top 3 point guards in the league for like.
He's been a top 3 point guard for 10 plus years.
I don't understand.
All right.
Ever since New Orleans was the fucking Hornets, that dude has been like relevant.
Bro, Chris Paul was so good. They denied that trade for him going to LA with Kobe because they knew that was an automatic championship. And we're talking about a small little point guard here with that impact. All right, we're not talking KD to the Warriors. We're talking Chris Paul partnering with Kobe Bryant, and the league was afraid, and they didn't want that.
Chris Paul has been more dominant and relevant than Chris Bosh was.
All right. Anyways, let me transition because I want to get off the CP3. I don't want to talk about how I bought his shoes and they ripped up on.
Wait, we could transition real quick because we're not done with All-Star Weekend. We are not done. We are not done with All-Star. Let's
talk about the All-Star game. Can we talk about the All-Star game?
Yeah, we can talk about the game. All right. Did you guys had a chance to watch the game or?
No.
I got a chance to see the hottest of it. I never watched the All-Star game. Like I said, I like the events around. I like the stuff around the league. Like when they did the draft. Did you see the draft that they did on TNT?
Yeah,
like
pretty dope.
Between
the top 75 draft.
I thought it was. Yeah. Well, for the All-Star game, I mean, I thought it was pretty hilarious. Ended with KD talking about, I need a big. There was the last pick. I'm talking about the last pick that KD had. It was between KD and LeBron, and KD is like, oh man, they got a lot of size over there. I need a big. And the last name on there was James Harden, who just got traded. James Harden, who just got traded, and who was the other guy?
He didn't even play.
Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert was the other name. Yeah, because he's been hurt or whatever.
Rudy Gobert
they had jokes
over his old teammate. He needed size. He wasn't even planning on playing in the game. So why did it even matter who you picked?
And, they made jokes on there. TNT, they're like, Chuck is like, is he hurt? He's hurt. He's like, no, he just got traded. He's fine. So, that's the shit that I like. That's the funny shit around the All-Star game that I like. But let's get into the actual game. Like, some of the spots, because that I wanted to, like, that we want to talk about, like, Jojo, go ahead with the All-Star game.
Overall, like, it's definitely not the NFL Pro Bowl, right? This is a very entertaining game. They have a new format. They play up to a certain amount of points each quarter, and then whatever the total score is at the end of the third, you add 24 on that for Kobe Bryant. That's Chris Paul came up with the format. So you're basically racing to whatever score that 24 is. In the fourth quarter to win the game. And Steph Curry, MVP of the All-Star game, stole the show. My man's dropped 50 points and 14 3-pointers in that game. And he hit 6 in a row from all over the place. Step back, almost half court, in the corner. This man had a turnaround, pretty much half court shot, ran the other way, it went in. He did 2 turnarounds in the game. One on the sideline, which is making headlines everywhere because of the dope picture, and the one at the top of the key. And he was actually 3 or 4 points away from tying or breaking the record for All-Star points. I think Anthony Davis has that title right now. He dropped 53 when he won MVP, which is insane. And then LeBron, of course, hometown kid, hometown hero, back in Cleveland with the game winner in the All-Star game. Turnaround fade away with everyone intended. That's great. You can't write a better story.
I think that was a pretty signature moment for me. Like just that last, the last shot, last winning shot to, him in his hometown. I think that was probably the dopest one, and him kind of just signifying hey, I'm still around, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Even though maybe his team's not that good, they probably will make the playoffs. It didn't make.
And I kind of opened up headlines. People were talking, hey, is LeBron open to coming back to Cleveland? And he answered. He was like, yeah, that door was never shut. That door was never shut. So who knows? Yeah, Cleveland's on the rise right now in the East. Anything can happen. But regardless to Steph Curry, greatest shooter of all time, dropped 50 and was just obliterating everybody. This man couldn't miss. He literally made 6 in a row. No. And I'm talking contested, Julian, because I know you think they're just out there having fun. They started playing defense on Curry. And whoever had him, it was one-on-one step back.
Defense. And Gabe defense is not defense.
No, listen. When Curry had 35 points or 30 points, they started playing defense on him. Really trying to stop him. And he was just putting the ball up, and it just kept going in. It was insane to watch. Go ahead. Go look back in the highlights. Every shot was contested.
I don't want to watch a game of horse, bro.
Yeah, listen, this ain't the Pro Bowl, Julian.
It is just as bad. It is just as bad. Just as bad.
I highly disagree.
Just as bad.
Go watch that.
And you bragging about Steph Curry dropping 50 points in the All-Star game is like bragging about fucking Tom Brady throwing 7 touchdowns in a Pro Bowl. No one gives a fuck.
No, that's not even comparable. Go watch the game. Go watch the game and see how.
I'm not watching a game where they score 60 fucking points. 160 points. I'm gonna say
he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. Their intensity level was there. They started guarding up. Joel Embiid was going against Jared Allen post game.
Bro, well, first off, all right, your argument is they started guarding up when he scored 37 points.
Yeah, because of course in the beginning.
So what happened before the 37 points?
It's free flow. They play free flow. Obviously, don't want to get injured.
Yeah, they're just fucking around. Like, I mean, I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I'm not saying they should play hard.
They play for real. They want to win. So it comes nitty gritty towards the end of the game.
They don't care. They go like I think they care more about the Olympics than they do about the All-Star game.
You'd even watch it this year.
I did watch parts of it. I literally watched parts of it. I'm like, I'm shutting this off. This is just bad. Like they're just like walking around. Dude. I did the same thing with the Pro Bowl. Like it's just like they're just fucking walking around.
Pro Bowl was 1,000 times worse. You're talking 2-hand touch in a Pro Bowl. 2-hand touch.
At least they touch each other. Fucking NBA All-Star game, they don't even touch each other.
Oh my god,
they're just shooting.
You got people dunking. You got Curry taking half-court shots. It's for the fans. It's entertainment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think if you just want to see people shoot, but I'm not going to sit here and say this is a competitive game and this is.
Well, I'm not here saying that. I'm saying it was entertaining. That's the key word. I'm saying this game was entertaining. Was the Pro Bowl entertaining? No. In all regards.
Yeah.
Like offense, defense, it was the worst. At least the All-Star game, you can tolerate it and watch it, and like it got exciting. It legit got exciting.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing from the takeaway is you want to see all the stars together. Like you want to see the guys that you like hanging out with each other, making jokes, laughing, whatever, doing shouting out, pointing to the crowd.
No, I think it's cool that they do it. I'm just saying if we're talking about just the game itself, like I mean, I don't care to watch it. Like it's just to me, I don't find it entertaining. It just seems like it's just a bunch of guys walking around shooting. Like I mean, that goes for all All-Star games. All All-Star games are never really that good.
I feel like you say that about every All-Star game every time we discuss it, and there's just no value in it for you. Do you not find it like as in an entertaining aspect?
The idea is cool, but it is never actually executed properly because it can't be. It just.
What do you mean? Why can't it be?
Well, because players will never go 100%. It will always be a half-assed game because it's just there's no point in getting injured.
That doesn't mean it can't be entertaining. Like, yeah, obviously you know what you're coming into, that it's not going to be playoff atmosphere.
Let me say this. I would be perfectly okay if they got rid of the All-Star game but kept the All-Star weekend and just did challenges. I'm way more for that. I'm totally cool with the dunk contest, all the other stuff, doing cool challenges. Like same thing with like the Pro Bowl, like the Pro Bowl skill challenges. I'm so like down to see that. I just don't care about the game itself. And I've always felt that way. Like I just don't care about the. I think the challenges are cool because I think there's a little bit more effort being put into a challenge than there would be into an actual full blown game.
You know what I like about the All-Star game? Because you can always think, what if, right? These are the best of the best players in the league currently, mix and matched on a team. And again, it's for the entertainment aspect. You could think, what if certain players are paired up? You don't get to see LeBron play with Steph every day.
Yeah.
But that's what I think the closest you get to that.
Wait. Now you get to see LeBron hit a game winner in his hometown and Steph dropped 50 points there in Cleveland where he got booed because we know that rivalry in Golden State. Like there's more to it, right? There's a lot more to the game than what it meets on the surface. And it's not, they're not going hard or they're not going 100%. Like the game overall and the concept, I think it was still pretty dope.
What I'm saying is though, like, I think the closest you'll get to that is like watching the Olympics or like the FIBA World Cup. Like, I think that's the closest you're going to get. I think that because you see all the superstars on one team and they're going to put in more effort into that than they went into an All-Star game because there's a little bit more pride into like representing your country and getting a gold medal. Obviously, it's slowly dissipating. But like there is going to be just, even if it's not the star players, like maybe you get like your second tier, like your second team all pros, like they're going to put in more effort than they would in like a.
And then you remember, Gabe, we were doing coverage on the Olympics, and we were literally shitting on the USA team. Even Julian wasn't even impressed with that team. So I don't know what it takes to impress Julian.
Well, a lot of people weren't impressed. There was a lot of questionable games they shouldn't have lost. I mean, with a team like that,
I understand that. I'm just going.
I'm saying it from that aspect.
I'm just going off what you're saying right now. Like but then we're talking, and you're like, "Yo, this team is trash, and they suck, and this and."
Compared to other Olympic teams of past,
I mean, It is what it is.
But
right?
all I'm saying is, I think the Olympic, you get closer to that with the Olympics, and that feeling that you said, that coolness factor of like how you see them all play together. I think you get more of that with the Olympics than you would an All-Star game. That's
and
all
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And I feel like the NBA All-Star Week is like, it's supposed to be a celebration of the NBA, right? It's like the half point. These guys are on vacation. We get a chance to see, it would have been, beautiful to see fucking Michael Jordan, RIP Kobe Bryant, if he would have been there. Dwayne Wade, you see all these great players together in a room, and they're just celebrating basketball. You celebrate all the memories that you get to watch. You know what I mean? And you're going back to what you said about the Olympics. Olympics is definitely more competitive because they're playing for gold, they're playing for glory, they're playing for their names, right?
Especially because the team on the other side
get a bronze
is really trying.
Yeah. So, but I feel like
it's two completely different
It's
things.
more fun. NBA weekends.
It is for fun. And like I said, in terms of entertainment, I think it's valued, and that's what it's for. Entertainment.
Yeah. To celebrate the NBA. To me, in my opinion, it's to celebrate the NBA. It's a halftime break, vacation. They go, to the beautiful location of Cleveland in the winter, and they celebrate.
Who knows? Anyway, hopefully Miami can host soon, because I don't remember the last time Miami's hosted an All-Star.
Bro, if I was for example, like you say, like Cleveland was bad, like I would be pissed if like for the NFL players that they left Hawaii. Like I'd be so mad. Like, take that shit back over there. I don't want to go to fucking Arizona. Like, come on. Vegas isn't as bad, but I don't want to go to Arizona or Orlando. Like, no, take my ass back to Hawaii. Like, if I was a player, I would so much rather do that than go to like Orlando or Arizona.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about NBA now, because now All-Star Weekend is signification of halfway point on the NBA season. We're talking about LeBron earlier. I want to get my LeBron expert on here. How do you feel about your prospect of the LA Lakers going forward for the rest of the season? LeBron talking about, I want to go with Bronny. I'll go wherever he's drafted. Cleveland's not at the point. How do you feel about you and your Lakers, JoJo, going forward for the second half of the season?
Well, kind of like what I said, in the last episode, we spoke about basketball, man. Right now, you can't really count on AD to be 100%. Even if he does come back, you still know it's a factor, and there's going to be a lot of what ifs on, how he's going to heal and everything. But moving forward, it's really up to Westbrook to kind of step up. We don't need MVP Westbrook, right? We just need a solid player to do his job. And he, right before the All-Star break, the Lakers got two big wins. And, Westbrook's been playing a little more conservative in a sense where, he's not getting those turnovers, or he wasn't making those terrible layup or random 3-point shots there in the fourth quarter. If he can continue to do that, I'm not saying the Lakers are going to improve like tremendously going in the second half, but if they could hold down a 6, 7, 8 seed into the playoffs, then anything could happen.
Julian, I want to talk about you because, last time we talked about it was trade deadline day. We didn't really talk about NBA because we were just waiting. It was literally trade deadline day and shit was going on. And one of the biggest things with the Lakers was that they wanted to trade Westbrook, and Pelinka got a lot of shit because they didn't trade Westbrook. And so, Julian, I want to ask you, like, how do you feel? Because it feels like this team was constructed by LeBron. This was all the guys that he wanted to play with. And how do you feel about, this is Lakers going forward? This is the guys they wanted. They wanted Russell Westbrook on his fucking huge bloated contract. They got AD, they got LeBron, and now they're stuck with this team. Like, what?
Don't forget Carmelo.
How should Lakers fans feel? Carmelo. Don't forget Carmelo. Top 75.
They need Melo. They need Melo back.
They need Melo to step up, bro.
They need Dwight to step up.
So Julian, like,
man,
how should Lakers feel about Westbrook going on?
Man, I don't know. I feel like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. I mean, I think the best they can hope for is to get into the play-in games. I mean, I think as it stands right now, they're 9th or 10th. I'm not entirely sure. But the best they can do is, it wasn't last year they were in the play-in, right? Yeah, they went against Golden State last year.
Yeah, they got in and then went against Phoenix, who we all thought they were going to take. I think Phoenix was the 2 seed, right? Lakers were the 7th, something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, Lakers, yeah. I don't even think we're in the top 8. I'm not sure. But, either way, like, the best you can hope for is to get into the play-ins. I really think not having AD was huge. I know they haven't really been too great with him in there. anyways. I think we looked at the record last year. It's pretty much the same record with and without him. But I think when it comes into that later season, you need that big dude in the paint. And Anthony Davis, at his best, can be one of the best players in the league. Like, he is
top 5 for sure.
He can play. And I think Westbrook, I mean, obviously we've seen it throughout the past like 10 plus years now. He's just a guy, he needs to be by himself. Like, when there's too many people around him, he just doesn't really do as well. He needs like only one other guy or just him. Like, because every time we surround him with other players, he just seems to be just kind of, he's good, but he's not like how he was, which is expected when you're around that many people. But it just, you don't see that like, that hunger like you normally do when he was like by himself in OKC, or when he just had Durant, or even last year during times where he looked really good with just Bradley Beal. But yeah, I mean, the best the Lakers could hope for is just getting to that play-in games.
They're currently 27-31, so they're only 4 games under 500, which they could be a lot. It could be a lot.
And I was going to say too, like, I think they look worse this year than they did last year.
Yeah, depending on their schedule. I don't know their schedule coming up. If they get a couple wins early on, get that momentum going. Just the first goal is just to get above 500, and then see what you do from there. And you never know, right? So, the Lakers don't have to play extremely well. You can also rely on some teams playing bad and switching out of those top spots, because that happens, right? Mm-hmm. Right? NBA season's a tale of 2 halves, so you never know what's going to happen. You could have a 7-8 seed right now. Hey, there could be some major injuries in the league, and, they could be in the playoffs like that.
So, but we're talking about LA. Obviously, they're coming off a championship, whatever. And this is a team that, like I said, that LeBron constructed. This is a team that he said, "Oh, if y'all talking about we're old, keep the same energy." And a motherfucker deleted that tweet. So I feel like we're talking about right now.
Bro, real quick, LeBron is the king of taking back what the fuck he said. He's so many times retweets some shit and he has to delete it because he just looks dumb after it. It happens all the time.
At least it's not KD.
All the time.
It could be a lot worse.
The point I want to make is, like, we're talking about a 9 seed. They're 4 games behind. Was it Portland? No, they're 3 games behind the Clippers, and they're 4 games behind the Timberwolves.
They're 3 games behind the Clippers and 2 games above the Trailblazers. 2 games above the Trailblazers.
Yeah, but we're talking. This is a championship. A championship team. And they're fighting for the 9 seed. Like, okay, yeah, we're talking about how they can barely make the playoffs, or barely, barely get above 500. But, like, what are they going to do in the playoffs when they land? Like, I feel like this is a team that they constructed. Like I said, this is all Clutch and LeBron James. And, man, we told you your team sucked at the beginning of the year, and look at y'all. Look at you.
Yeah, there's no shot.
As Drake would say.
Let the second half commence. Like, let's see how we feel later on. Like, obviously, they're not like a championship team, right? But anything can happen in the playoffs, and with the experience of LeBron James, if he's playing, anything can happen. You know what I mean? Hopefully AD gets healthy and comes back.
I'm calling it right now. They lose in the play-ins.
They lose in the play-ins?
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow.
They lose here. They lose in the play-ins. The only reason that we're even talking about this team is because it's the Lakers. If this was any other team, we wouldn't give an absolute shit. Like, why are we talking so much about a 9-seat team? Like, that's barely
because they won a championship.
Yeah, because of the expectations. They were, in the limelight these last few years. It's not just a random thing. Yeah, it's the Lakers.
It's top players.
Yeah, it's LeBron James, face of the league, arguably still. But that's exactly why we're talking about it, because LeBron's on year, 18, 19, and can he get another ring? Like, time's ticking. Just like we keep talking about Tom Brady. Yeah. We kept talking about Tom Brady every single year. So,
how many good seasons did he have with the Lakers? Like one, maybe? Like one regular season where it was actually good?
Well, the first season he got
injured. The first one, they didn't even make it.
They didn't make the playoffs. He got injured. Yeah. Then the second season, they got AD. That's when they won the championship. They went all the way. This is currently his third season. This is currently his third season. We're at the halfway point of that. And he has one more year in his contract.
No, you skipped one. You skipped one.
No, that's it.
Yeah, the bubble season then you had last year.
Oh, you're right.
And then this year. Because last year they were in the play-ins and beat the Warriors.
You're right about that. Yeah, my mistake. Yeah, they lost in the playoffs.
So also going forward, let's transition to another team because I want to talk about probably the biggest trade of the season. We had Ben Simmons from the 76ers traded to New York.
Your boy, Julian. We talking about your boy now.
I want Julian to come talk about the prospect of the Nets going forward because now they have, we talked about earlier how it's possible that New York would lift the vaccination status or the mask status? I think it's the vaccination status. Right?
Well, if it has to do with Kyrie Irving, it's the vaccination.
Yeah. So New York is possible. It's possible they might do it, but I'm more of the mindset of there's going to be more variants and the vaccine is going to be needed. So maybe they might lift it for a little bit, but then probably lock it back down.
Bring it back.
But Julian, how do you feel? But just in general, how do you feel about this trade of Harden going to Philly? He's going to team up with Embiid, and then Ben Simmons teaming up with Kyrie and KD.
I think Ben Simmons is going to be a non-factor.
Wow.
Personally, I think it's going to be a non-factor, at least on the offensive side of the ball, for sure. I think if anything, we're going to see I think we're going to see a better KD. I think we're going to see a better KD.
Well, he's currently injured, but when he gets back,
but I'm saying like when he comes back, hopefully Kyrie can come back. I think people kind of have a hard time playing with Harden. Personally, it seems that way. I don't know for whatever reason. I don't know exact reasons why, but it always seems to kind of happen that way.
I think it's because he loves playing iso ball, right? So if the offense doesn't match his style of play, it's going to create friction between the coaches and the players.
I think the Nets are just as deadly. I think they're still a favorite in the East. I think they're just as strong. I think the Sixers, man, we just don't know because they never show up in the postseason. Maybe James Harden changes that. It's so hard to see.
Never.
But like you have James Harden now who has actually semi-won in the playoffs, so maybe he can help turn that around. And then Embiid actually has another support system that isn't the bum that is Ben Simmons. But I don't know. I feel like the Sixers got a little better, and I feel like the Nets are about the same still.
Okay, Joe,
they can get Kyrie back and actually playing because Kyrie didn't really play last playoffs, right? He was hurt a lot of it.
No, he was sitting.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah. So, I mean, is the team going to look that much different? I think Kyrie, if he's able to come back and play at a high level, I think it looks the exact same than when it was just Harden and KD because Harden was hurt that playoffs too.
Yeah. So I think the Nets actually improved because they did get shooters from the Sixers. They got Curry.
Supplementary players are good.
Yeah, exactly. So Sixers lost a lot of that, and they're gonna rely on heavy offense with James Harden. We know what he can bring to the table. We know what he's done in Houston when he had to put the team on his back and he had to drop 30, 40, 50 a game to keep them, and playoff mentality, playoff zones. But him and Embiid, I'm not sure how that chemistry is going to work out. Embiid right now is the top 5 big in the league, and he's dominating. The thing is that Harden doesn't really bring defense to the table the way Ben Simmons did. So if you have Kyrie available full time and KD comes back, and then you have a Ben Simmons, which obviously we all know he can't shoot, but he's working on it. He still brings an offensive threat in terms of fast breaks and, his layup package. Like, he can score. I don't know how. He averaged a pretty decent amount in Philly without shooting. So just imagine if he develops that shot and that confidence along with Kyrie. And Simmons doesn't rely on iso ball. So, he's a good passer as well. He could set up Kyrie, KD. They could set him up. He's a good cutter. Things that Harden didn't really do on that team. And Gabe,
that's what I'm saying. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say. I mean, I think as far as Philly, I think it makes sense having Harden and Embiid. You can have Harden up top, holding the ball around the rim. You have Embiid down low. So I think that game can work.
That pick and roll is gonna be a huge threat.
So I, as far as that goes, I think that works. My problem with James Harden is mentally where is he at? Because right now I feel like Daryl Morey, the GM, they went all in. They're like, yo, we're getting like prime years of Embiid. Embiid's playing lights out, probably MVP season. We need to win now. So trading for James Harden, even though they gave up a lot, I think that's their signal of like, we need to win now. We'll do anything to win. We need Embiid to win. And he's been their franchise. They'll keep him there. As far as the Nets go, I don't look forward to Ben Simmons, the offensive guy, but as far as defense, I do think they improved. I think this was one of the weird things where like it's both kind of a win-win, even though it's a weird trade. Sixers gave up a lot. I think it's a win-win. You have two guys that can dominate the ball. You have Kyrie, who obviously proven himself in the playoffs. You have KD, who I think is an official closer. He can shoot lights out. So you have two guys right there that can close the games for you. You don't need Ben Simmons to close the game for you. You just need him to play defense and score, with opportunity. The only thing I worry about Ben Simmons is where's that, Jojo, you brought it up, where's that confidence? Like, is he going to have the confidence in tight games and close games and the games and playoff games to perform, to not shit the bed, to not get scared or to not look scared?
And here's the thing.
I think
that's what I'm banking my analysis on. Is like, I don't know when it comes playoff time, like, is he going to be a huge factor? I just don't see it. Like, I don't see. I think the supplementary guys that they also got from that trade, it will be more beneficial. You're going to see more benefits from those guys and helping support KD. And if Kyrie's able to play, support him, I think you'll see more of that because they kind of know their role versus like having James Harden there. You're just having such a clash of like, do you want to give it to Harden? Do you want to give it to KD? Now it's kind of like this is KD's, like, this is his team in a sense. And I just feel like it flows better.
Yeah, no,
and that's why. And also saying too, real quick, saying that they'll stay stagnant is not a bad thing. I mean, they were really close to going to the finals, and they were by far the favorites. So I just saying that I think they're going to stay there. I don't think they're like astronomically great. But
as far as Ben Simmons shit in the bed, like we all mentioned, but look at the 76ers team. It was him or Embiid. Right? One of those two, they're supposed to go for those game-winning shots, those crunch time moments. Honestly, he doesn't even have to worry about that, in my opinion, on this Brooklyn Nets team. Like I said, you have KD. That's his team. You have Kyrie, who's shown up in the finals, in other playoff games, with clutch moments as well. So Kyrie could even run that.
Yeah. Simmons is a role player. He's a role player.
He's just, so what I'm saying is, like, I don't even think that's something to worry about on this particular team because of the players you have around you. You have Kevin Durant, who's hit some of the most clutch shots in the finals. And then, of course, Kyrie's shot. We all know what he did to the Warriors. Like, they're capable of doing those things. So I think he's just there on the defensive end. Grab some boards, do your thing, get some layups, some fast break points. And, the game-winning shots are going to go to the two big dogs. Not like when he was in Philly. It's him or Embiid. Because who else was there to take those shots? Right, they all relied on Ben. But that's how Ben got exposed because they didn't have anyone else to take those shots. He was the big name there. And then we find out, okay, he's not capable of doing those things. But maybe on a different team, he doesn't have to worry about that. And that's where that confidence level will come up.
Yeah, they haven't had that since they lost Butler.
Yeah. So,
like a guy who can
and that was the biggest mistake. That was a huge mistake. They got rid of Butler, right? So they got rid of a key guy that could take those shots, in those key moments. And then, boom, Ben Simmons exposed.
Real quick,
I would agree with all that.
I don't know why nobody talks about this, but can we please explain? Can we please talk about how atrocious the Sixers jerseys are? Why does it say Phila? Why does it say Phila? You literally had Philly. You had Philly right there, bro. You had Philly right there. Why not just put Philly? Like, why did put Phila?
That's like, just. It was. I feel like you're doing a CP3. I don't know the history. I don't know the history behind it, but. It's always been around.
But you had that right there for it. How sick would that have been if it just said Philly? Like that would you had that right there, bro. Like
they have those jerseys. They have them. Anyways,
this is Phila.
Yeah, I guess going forward in the East,
Fila.
What I want to see.
This guy.
I want to see Fila against my Miami Heat going forward. I think the teams also in the East that we're not talking about. That we probably
I was going to bring that up. I'm like, why are we not talking about the number one seed in the East? Yeah, take it away. Our Heat expert, our Heat analyst.
Do I have to talk about? All right, I'm going to talk about the Heat. Let me just tell you, the news came out today. Andrew Shang of the Miami Beat reported that Victor Oladipo and Markieff Morris will be traveling today I forget what game they play, but they will be traveling. So we have an update on that. Also, I feel it's
they play
bullshit.
The Knicks tomorrow.
Ooh. Goran Dragic, you went and got fucking traded. You got sold out by San Antonio, and then you're going to New York. I don't appreciate that. That's another. But also, I can.
He said, "I don't appreciate that
because I can see him not getting game time because then we have Victor Oladipo coming back. We have other guys that have stepped up. Gabe Vincent, Yurtseven, fucking what's his name? Caleb Smith, who just got re-signed and changed contract. I can see maybe he doesn't get playing time, but I would have loved to have Goran Dragic. But I'm not going to talk about. We're not talking about that. I want to talk about the East. Because I feel like there's other teams that are stepping up as well. The teams like this year, the Cavaliers. We haven't talked about the Cavaliers a lot.
Facts.
We haven't talked about the Bucks. I still think the Bucks are dominant. They're a little bit lower in the seed. I think they're like a 5 seed or something. I still think they're favorites to
have the Bulls at second.
And it's still gonna be tough.
Don't sleep on the Bulls, man. Don't sleep on the Bulls this year. This guy,
bro. I don't even know who's on that team.
Oh, Caruso. They have freaking.
Oh, Caruso.
DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine.
Yeah. DeMar DeRozan shooting threes.
Completely.
DeMar DeRozan.
Bro, that team is. Come on, man. They could definitely make a run. But I think Caruso's still injured. DeMar DeRozan put on an MVP campaign this season. Don't sleep on him.
Yes, I would say that.
Don't sleep on him.
I was about to say a lot of game winners, a lot of last second buzzer beaters. Definitely dope. So I feel like the East is very competitive. We'll see going forward, especially going the rest of the half of this, second half of the season. What's up?
Somebody get Bradley Beal off of Washington, bro. There's somebody get him out of there. Someone save that man. Someone save that man, dude.
LA. They said Westbrook was supposed to be traded for Beal, and Pelinka didn't do it because Westbrook's contract is huge as fuck, and nobody wants to buy his contract. Yep. They made that deal with Westbrook. Now it's supposed to be the trade that Pelinka didn't do, and that's why LeBron is saying, "Oh, I might go to Cleveland or keep the door open. I will keep the key under the doormat for you."
You know what it is?
It makes you wonder. I was gonna say, like, man, imagine how Bradley Beal feels like. Yes, we finally got a guy who can help play alongside me. Who could probably be a competitor. And then, like, I bet you Washington fans were like, "Yes, finally, we got like Westbrook and Beal. Like, we made it to the playoffs, even though we're a low seed, we still made it."
Yeah.
And then he leaves, and it's just like, man, like. That could have been something right there because they were playing really well together. They were actually they were complimenting each other pretty well.
They were
kind of curious to see what would have happened if they stayed and like kind of built upon that.
I feel like they could have been like a solid 6 or 7 seed this season, maybe.
This season, but if you have that base to build upon and like maybe do something with. Who knows?
So we'll see going forward. We'll follow the NBA. I feel like it's NBA season going the rest of the way now that football is gone. But can we talk a little bit about football, even though football is over? Julian, is there anything you want to bring up NBA or NFL, going on the rest of the half this season?
Give me a quick reaction to your Super Bowl. I know me and JoJo went in depth with it last week, so we don't go too much in it, but just like your quick thoughts, just your quick run through.
I saw the video last week, so y'all check that out last week's podcast episode, video, vlog, I don't know what you would call it. I thought it turned out more interesting than what people were predicting to be. People were saying it was going to be a boring Super Bowl.
Really?
But come that second half, Odell goes down. You get a freaking face mask, and then face mask touchdown, and then you get a turnover. Freaking Stafford immediately throws turnover. I'm like, yo, the Bengals might actually win this fucking game.
They had a shot.
They might actually be close enough to win.
They had a shot.
The Bungles.
But I think overall, what I told y'all, I remember in the podcast that we talked about, I was like, that matchup I want to see is that LA D line versus the Bengals O line. Exactly. The O line was banged up, and they've given up so many sacks, and that ended up being the game changer. That was the thing that that ruined the Bengals, I guess. But like I said, Bengals just being in the Super Bowl is not a wasted season. It's not a loss. I know it feels sucks that you might have a chance and then you lose, but I feel like they had a successful season. You can see the inklings of like, yo, they're going to be around. I expect them to be, going forward. We'll see what happens with NFL trades as far as, I'm hearing Russell Westbrook to the Steelers or wherever Aaron Rodgers.
It's going to be a wild offseason.
Who knows?
It's going to be wild.
Who knows what happens in that conference?
Bro, I can't even picture him in that uniform. That's insane to think about.
Yeah, that's crazy. But we'll see. I expect the Bengals to be competitive, and I feel very hopeful for the Bengals. Again, they're a very fun team, very fun to root for. Jamar Chase, excellent. Joe Burrow, you see what happens when he doesn't tear his leg and he has a full season. So
when he doesn't have a bad leg.
Yeah.
Peg leg Burrow,
crutches, whatever.
Peg leg Burrow.
So, but shout out to LA. Listen, LA. This is what they wanted. They got all the names. They got the Von Millers. They got the Odell Beckhams. They got the freaking Ramsey. They got Aaron Donald. They got all the guys that they wanted. And they constructed the team to win, and they ended up winning. I mean, is it a huge surprise? Not really. I mean, it was a little bit of struggle. It was a little close, but LA was definitely a dominant team, and they definitely deserved to be champions.
Yeah, facts.
In the end, that's my.
They got the job done.
Summation.
Who did you have?
Of the Super Bowls.
Who were you rooting for?
I think I picked LA.
Oh, that's right. You picked LA. Actually, I'm the only one that won.
Yeah.
I picked the Bengals -4 or +4. I mean, so I was the only one that won.
Yeah, they didn't cover the points. But I picked LA to win.
Yeah.
All right. Also, in NFL news, we want to talk about XFL is partnered with the NFL. Just kind of like the idea of, I think this was like Dwayne Wade. Sorry, not Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
There you
kind
go.
of highly invested in the XFL. And
he is majority owner.
He is. Yeah.
So how do you feel about, Julian? How do you feel about the XFL partnering with the NFL?
Well, first off, this makes so much more sense why he was doing this weird like WWE monologue before the game started.
Oh yeah.
This makes so much more sense now.
It hyped me up, bro. It hyped me up for the game. I was in front of the
honestly
TV.
I wasn't even hearing what he was saying. I'm just seeing him just like yelling, just flexing. Like
his veins about to pop out of his head.
You could tell that man took some pre-workout and got a nasty pump because there's so many moments where you just see him like like holding the microphone.
He's a performer. He's a performer
before going out on the field.
But yeah, it makes sense. But so apparently XFL just partnered with the NFL, and kind of the idea behind it is that the XFL is going to be a petri dish, kind of like a place to experiment certain things that could eventually be introduced into the NFL.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is pretty cool because I don't know if you guys watched the first reboot of the league last year or right before COVID pretty much knocked it out. But like, I don't know if you guys watched those first couple of games. It was set up to be pretty successful. They had big TV deals with like ESPN and Fox and stuff like that. They brought in a bunch of like NFL players and a bunch of ex-NFL coaches and stuff like that. And there was a lot of interesting ideas where like they changed like kickoffs, and it's actually a little bit more of a safer kickoff. It's kind of like a punt almost. And then they also they did like being able to control camera. Like the refs had like Xbox controllers, being able to like go and move cameras around and things like that and see things. There was a lot of interesting, like innovative things to help improve the game. And obviously you could tell there's certain things that, what did the NFL take from there recently? I can't remember, but like, for example, the Skycam that we see now all the time, that was actually introduced from the first XFL back in like the early 2000s, the very first one. And you can tell that because the NFL hasn't really had any like major competition except for college football, if you want to call that really a competition. I wouldn't necessarily call it that, but I think it's cool. Like I've always felt like that there needed to be a second or like a lower level league for players who just can't quite make it in the NFL to still have a career playing football and playing the game they love.
Paid playing professionally, in a sense.
You can still get paid and do what you love and still do it and still have a second chance to come back. And football was like the only sport that doesn't have that. Like
like a farm system league, right?
Yeah. Or not even a farm system league, but just a second tier league that you can go to. The closest thing they had was the arena football, but that's completely different. That's almost a whole different sport. But like basketball, you can go to Europe. Soccer, there's so much places you can go to do. Baseball, you have the minors. Hockey, you have the minors. The NFL was just missing that, and I think XFL is good. And I mean, there's a huge opportunity to take it part. I mean, like we talk about how relatively how short the NFL season is. You have so much time in between that they try to fill up as much as they can. And I think they do a pretty good job of it in draft, free agency, training camp, all this other stuff. But like, it'd be nice to have some actual like football going on during that time, because college and NFL, they go on the same time. So you don't really see it, but like, it'd be nice to have some filler content, which we are actually getting this season with the United States Football League, the other league. But As for the XFL, though, I think it's awesome. I think it's cool that The Rock got it. I think it actually has some serious backing, and it could be pretty dope. I think they start the season next year, so I'm curious to see any like new experimental ideas that work well and get sent to the NFL. I think the Xbox controller with the ref having that, being able to control it, would be sweet to have, and I think also changing up the kickoffs to be safer would be cool to have too. I like the kickoff system that they had in the XFL. Gabe, did you ever watch any of those like right before COVID, before everything got shut down?
I did watch the XFL. I think one of the biggest things I like was like the sideline. They had like I think they had Diana
yes, that's what it is. Yeah,
like instant plays, and they also had they had everybody mic'd up on the sideline.
Live mic'd up.
Plays.
Yeah,
and this was during COVID, the bubble, when they had nobody in the stadium. So that kind of shit, that kind of stuff, I do like, because I feel like it makes me feel like I'm on the field, like I'm on the sideline, even though I'm not.
No, they stopped that when COVID happened. They stopped right when COVID happened. It was like that couple weeks before. They had like 3 weeks where they played. But I forgot about the sideline thing. You can hear them talk and like call play. That was sick.
Yeah. So that I do appreciate, and it was sports in the middle of a pandemic, so there was nothing else to watch. I'm gonna say at home, there's nothing else to watch. Like, how much Netflix can I just scroll through and not pick a movie to watch? So I think that was fun, and it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of good. It's like a second chance for players to get signed and get extra tape on them so they can get signed. And a lot of I would say not a lot. There were many players that signed.
They got re-signed
from the XFL. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. Was it PJ Tucker? I think he got picked up by the PJ Walker. Yeah, PJ Walker. Yeah, he got picked up by. But he got picked up originally from the Seahawks after playing super well for like the Houston team. And then St. Louis gets his football team again. They were hyped, bro. The Battlehawks. That's a sick ass name.
Battlehawks is a pretty dope name.
Yeah, and the logo was sick. Was one of the few that had a good logo. But I mean, St. Louis was hyped to have a football team back. My only criticism with XFL is it came off so cheesy with like the way the logos and stuff were.
Yeah, it reminds me. You're gonna get like tier 2
it just feels
college weird looking, logos.
But even college looks clean sometimes. You know what it reminded me of? You ever played you remember like seeing like the old like NFL Europe teams and stuff like that? You used to be able to play on like Madden.
Madden.
Yeah. You used to be able to play on Madden. It had like those cheesy like looking logos. Yeah,
Sea Dragons.
They brought in the NFL Europe teams. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like when I saw that, it just reminded me of that. I was like, this looks so cheesy. But we are getting the United States Football League, which I guess is supposed to be pretty equal level to the XFL. I guess a lot of former players are going there. That's going to be interesting to see.
So I think with that it was weird because Vince McMahon was trying to start back at the XFL again. And they had an XFL, but I think there was a guy who was covering like a journalist who was covering it, and then literally like followed Vince McMahon, and then went and split off. He like literally took his idea and just made his own thing that was going forward. So I feel like there's 2 parallel leagues. That's what you're talking about, the USFL.
Oh, that's how the USFL spawned.
I think I gotta look up the story. I'm not too sure, but I do remember hearing a story about Vince McMahon trying to run this thing through WWE, whatever, and then there was a split off there. Somebody else was trying to do their own shit, like an American thing. But I gotta look it up. I'll tell you the story next week. We'll talk about it.
They got a lot of ex-NFL players playing this year in that league. It's gonna be kind of interesting. I might check it out a few games. I remember we talked about like, what was it, like a year and a half ago almost, or a year ago, about them potentially merging with the Canadian Football League. Obviously, that never ended up working out. We discussed
that before, yeah.
Yeah, it fell through, but that would have been interesting to see them do that. That would have been kind of cool. But I guess it just didn't work. I think Canada just wanted to stick to their own thing.
I guess last story we can talk about the 49ers. Obviously they went deep in the playoffs, but they got exposed.
Jimmy G.
We need to talk about Jimmy G possibly getting traded from the 49ers. Julian, do you feel this is real? Where is he going to go?
It looks like it's real. I mean, tons of news reports all coming up today talking about him getting traded.
I've been seeing it.
And like a big, and even the potential, like maybe a unofficial 4-way trade, because the NFL, you can't do multi-team trades outside of 2 like you can in the NBA or baseball. But it looks like there might be something. I think he's for sure. They're trying to find some compensation for him, because I think they get what you can out of him. He had a pretty good season. Do you want to run it back with him for the 4th time? Do you want to risk it? I think you take him and try to trade what you can get for him after just having a pretty good season by Jimmy G standards. So I would say, get rid of him, see what you can get, and see what maybe you get into the Aaron Rodgers race. Aaron Rodgers goes back home to NorCal. Like, that could be something interesting. Do you go see what Trey Lance has? I think you go and, like I said, don't risk another year with Jimmy G because he might end up being terrible next year, and then you're not going to get the same compensation that you would have got if you traded him this year. I say sell him while he's high, and you already got your rookie. And then there's a lot of quarterbacks on the market. If you're not ready for Trey Lance to go out there, there's still some other guys you could possibly get because they're a Super Bowl team and they're a quarterback, a good quarterback away from
I can see that.
So that could be
Jojo, what are your thoughts on Jimmy G? Like, I mean, is he a tradable asset? Is he worth trading value for?
I mean, like what Julian just explained now, you got to trade him when his value is high and you don't know how he's going to perform next season, right? That it could be like a Westbrook getting traded right now, and you know what I mean, is the downfall. Like, right? So he's been to a Super Bowl. He was a game away from going back to the Super Bowl this season. Heavily relied on the run and his defense. And that's just not where the future is for the 49ers is right now. It's either you go young and start a rebuild and try to figure it out with your rookie, or, you know, again, like you're a team that can land a big quarterback right now in free agency. So I'd say you got to take the risk. I mean, the Rams took the risk, and look what happened to them, right? You're not going to go all the way. I'm sorry, with Jimmy G, you're just not. You can't rely on the guy.
He can get there, but does he close it for you? I don't know.
I mean,
as you saw these past,
he played pretty well this season. Like, I'll give him that. They did. Like, he played pretty good for his standards. Like, he's not terrible. He's not like you know, bottom half of the barrel. But you know, I feel like you're gonna put all your chips in on this guy. You know,
when you got the team, like, who knows how much Joey Bosa is going to get? I'm not Joe Bosa. Nick Bosa is going to ask for a big contract. A lot of those players are going to be wanting big contracts, and you gotta get it while you can, while everything's so cheap and you can afford everything. Will Tom Brady go back home? Will he come out of retirement and go to San Francisco? Go back home? Will Aaron Rodgers go back home? Will they all? San Francisco.
These are questions that need answering. We won't find out until, you know, I guess
the next episode.
But here's my
Real Fans podcast.
That's it. We're gonna wrap it up because I think we did a full episode. We did the NBA, a whole week live NBA, NFL stuff. We'll have it for you. I'm gonna start watching more hockey because I need to talk about my top Panthers. I need to talk about my Panthers, dog. I need to talk about my Panthers. How we're gonna go to the championship. Fuck Tampa. We're gonna get the Lightning. We're gonna get them again. We're coming back. Anyways, that's episode. The episode's done pretty much. Julian, JoJo, tell them where can they find the podcast?
You can find us Instagram Real Fans Podcast, Twitter Real Fans Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast. Right, we're looking for those interactions.
All kinds of other ones.
Repost, you know what I'm saying? Get some listens-ins. We love the interactions. We comment back in the comment section. We love to argue. You got Gabe and I over here always going back and forth with you guys. Let's keep it going here. Let's keep it going.
Julian, tell them about the YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's doing well. Appreciate all the support and love, man. We've been getting hundreds of views lately. It's been pretty sick. And all the new subscribers, thank everybody for coming out, subscribing, watching the videos, liking them, commenting. It's been great. We've been getting a lot of interaction recently. So, yeah.
If y'all want to keep talking shit to Gabe, right there in the comment section, it's right there for y'all. Keep on talking shit to Gabe.
I'm coming right back at you.
Keep on talking shit to Gabe.
Jimmy G is a fraud. Jimmy G is a fraud. I'll be on there to tell you about that. Anyways, that's it for the episode. We'll see y'all next week. We'll be back. Peace.